Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Good morning, I'm Bandula Jayasekara. My friend and colleague Faraz Shaukat Ali is on leave and I'm standing in for Faraz. We are not going to waste much time today. We are going to talk cricket. What happened to Sri Lankan cricket, why we hit rock bottom and why we had to leave and come back so early to Sri Lanka, and why and how and why our people were disappointed. I'm joined by Kapila Vijayagunawardena, former chairman of national selectors. Good morning, Kapila.
Good morning, Mandula.
What happened? We read in the newspapers 1 week before the T20 you were removed, or I don't know who removed, or they say Minister of Sports. What happened?
Actually, we were notified the day before the team was to leave for Bangladesh that we have been removed, and we were not even extended a courtesy of a meeting to explain and inquire from us the rationale behind the selections that we had made. It was only through the media that we were notified, citing various allegations for the reason for us being removed.
I thought it's very unprofessional for the cricket board to inform you all through the media.
Well, I suppose there are certain protocols which you extend under any circumstances, and on this occasion, sadly, those were not followed.
But how? I mean, you got a call from? Did you get a call from the Director General of Sports?
At 11:45 in the night on the 7th, I received a call saying that that we have been removed from the selection committee, and that the rest of my colleagues will be notified the following morning. But since then we have not heard anything in writing or verbally.
Even not, were they notified, or did they call them also?
No, they have not been called, and there was no notification issued either.
You think the present singing sports minister is interfering with cricket?
I have, as I have explained very clearly, there were various attempts, both direct and indirect, to interfere with the choices that we had made in preparation for the World Cup squad, and it was when they could not get their wishes fulfilled through our committee that they decided to haul us out and get another committee to stand in to rubber stamp what they wanted done.
Kapila, could you tell us about their wishes? I mean, is it the president of the cricket board or the secretary, or
the people in positions of authority? Naturally, see, the moment you desecrate the integrity and the trustworthiness of the selection process, you harm the very core of the game. And that is what happened, because there's no point in having an independent selection committee if people in other positions want to be involved in the selections.
Like, wait a minute, other position, that means you don't need a selection committee?
You don't. Under in the present context, I don't see the need for a selection committee to be there, because they will only be rubber stamping somebody else's wishes.
Now what happened? We had a 40-day selection committee, and then yesterday I've read in the media Aravind is not going to continue, and so is Sangakkara. What's happening to
we are reading various things in the papers, but there is no tradition nor a legal basis on which you can appoint a selection committee for 40 days. It's always a tenure of 1 year or 2 years, whichever the case may be. But the fact that they tread down this path clearly shows that there were vested interests involved in the decision-making process.
But they had this. Okay, you say there's no tradition, but there was this selection committee for 40 days.
Yeah, that happened. And
they broke the law.
It was. I do not know what the legal foundation is, but clearly they sabotaged the preparations leading up to the World Cup. That was the net result.
Very interesting. I've got some questions. You know, Mr. Upali Obesekara from Toronto, Canada has sent me questions, and now there's and then Rohan Vijay Singh. Then we have got this few questions from the viewers. One question says Lasith Malinga only played one game in the Asia Cup and was injured thereafter. Why did you select him for the T20 World Cup when Malinga himself stated that he was not fit to play?
It was a very clear decision. Lasith Malinga is arguably the most valuable player in the T20 format, and him having been appointed the captain, the basic rationale in our thinking was that we should give him every opportunity to get fit so that he can lead our World Cup campaign. So it was on that basis that we picked him, and his commitment to taking his responsibilities was very clearly shown when he played in the first game in the Asia Cup. Unfortunately, he aggravated his injury since, and that was the reason why we subsequently removed him from the World Cup squad, because we knew that he was not fit enough to lead our campaign.
Kapil, we are just talking of one player, but look what the West Indies captain Darren Sammy said. He said, look, it's a team game, we have 15 players and we play together. Okay, they thought of Chris Gayle, he failed, somebody else succeeded. We should be like that.
That is absolutely true. I think team spirit and unity in the team is a critical ingredient in the success of any team, and sadly, due to outside interference, that environment was violated.
Now, what do you mean? No, you say outside interference, it's really the cricket board interference. We didn't interfere.
What I meant was external forces within the cricketing fraternity.
I mean, let's be direct. I mean, you're talking of the president of the cricket board and the board members.
Yes, that is what I meant.
So they are inside job. Let's not say outside.
Sure, elements within the fraternity, because we had a very clear plan leading up to the World Cup, and due to external forces getting involved and scuttling all those plans, unfortunately it was the country that suffered. Because let's not forget that we have a very proud history in this country. We have participated in 5 World Cup finals over the last 9 years. So sadly, due to unnecessary interference, we exited in the first round.
So Kapil, that means you don't blame the cricketers. Do you blame only the administrators this time?
Absolutely. I don't blame the cricketers in any way, because cricketers don't have to be held responsible for what we experienced during the campaign, because all the plans that we had laid out, the batting orders, the specific roles we had identified for specific players, unfortunately could not be carried forward due to the situation that arose leading up to the campaign.
Do you mean to say that we lost because of that?
Yes, I will venture into saying that.
So now you were trying to infuse new blood. There was, I think, Niroshan Dikwala, there was Vandase and Kasun Rajit.
That's right. And we had, like I had stated before, all our decisions were taken on the needs of the team and the interests of the country, not due to any personal affiliations the selection committee had. So when the players that we had identified were handed over their airline tickets, and a day before the scheduled departure, when they are kept out of the team, how unfair is that? Here are 2 budding young cricketers who have been picked on merit, unceremoniously hauled out of the team. How do you explain that, Badula?
Do you think Angelo Matthews was happy with the team he was given?
Well, subsequently the team was changed. So that is a question that you need to pose to him, because we had picked who we thought was the best 15 to represent the country.
So you mean to say that he wasn't given the best 15?
In our view, yes, because we had clearly identified the players who suited the conditions in that country, and I think the way the young leg spinner performed after being hauled out and then brought back into the side bears ample testimony to the fact that we had identified the right talent.
Now there's another question from a viewer. What was your logic in appointing Dinesh Chandimal as captain to replace Malinga, especially in view of the fact that it has been reported in the media that Malinga did not even want him in the side? Why not Angelo Matthews?
Well, we had a clear reason. If you recall, during the Asia Cup tournament, we had 3 captains in 4 games. So
that must be a record.
Possibly, but what we did not want is there to be instability, because planning is critical, and I think leadership needs to be stable in a team, and the decision was due to the injury that both Lasith Malinga and Angelo Matthews was carrying. So we did not want to have the same experience that we encountered during the Asia Cup, during the World Cup campaign, and that proved to be correct because we had 2 captains in 4 games again.
Now another question. You and your committee made a bold decision to bring in new young players into the team. Has your decision been vindicated?
I suppose it has been, because you need to constantly bringing young talent into the side, and what we attempted to do during our tenure was to create an environment where there was a level playing field, equal opportunity, and players were picked on merit, and that is what we did, and that is how we were able to bring, I think, close to 12 young players, and there is about another 7 to 8 players waiting in the wings to come in.
It's interesting. There's a, when we announced that you were coming, and there's a great interest from our viewers. And another question from a viewer: Lahiru Thirimanne and Suranga Lakmal were brought into the side by the new committee. You were criticized for leaving Thirimanne out. He failed in all 4 games. So your decision seems to have been justified. Your thoughts?
Well, it's not important whether our decisions were vindicated or not, Bandula. The ultimate harm was to the country, to the image and the proud heritage of Sri Lanka cricket, because I respect all these players for their talent. I have no doubt they are extremely talented players, but we had a very clear plan to identify the right players suited to play in the conditions we were going to encounter in India, and our decisions were based on picking horses for courses, which ultimately proved to be right, but unfortunately being vindicated with our decisions proves nothing when the country suffers at the end of the day.
But I mean, you say the country suffers, but if the sports minister is interfering, I mean, he's a politician. If he's interfering, so if he's not worried, why are you so worried?
No, I'm worried as a Sri Lankan, as a former cricketer and a citizen of this country. We need to highlight red flag incidents of this nature in the hope that the leadership of this country and the government will intervene and take the necessary remedial action to ensure that such things do not happen in the future.
Kapila, we'll go for a short break and we'll be back with you in a moment. Come back to Newsline. We are talking cricket with Kapila Wijegunawardena. Kapila, interesting. More and more questions from viewers. Van der Sar was dropped at the very last minute and then brought back in when Malinga returned after a week, having not played a match. He proved to be the best of Sri Lankan bowlers and seems in an exciting prospect for the future. Any comments?
Well, for sure. I mean, we had identified the need to have a leg spinner in our World Cup squad, and that was the reason why we had picked him. And as the tournament unfolded, it was very clear that every team that had a good leg spinner progressed in the tournament. And like the viewer has mentioned, the young leg spinner turned out to be the best bowler in our campaign too. So I'm happy that his talents have been showcased, and I hope he goes on to be a champion bowler for Sri Lanka.
Now we know you as a gentleman. Now are you planning to have a heart-to-heart chat with Tilanga and maybe the Minister of Sports, Jayasakara, in the interest of cricket?
Well, I don't think there is a right environment for that to happen, Bandula.
You think they don't have hearts or what?
No. That is not what I meant. I don't think the environment is right for that to happen, because when we were part of the committee, we had every intention to do what is right for cricket, and it is blatantly clear that that does not appear to be the case where these other people are concerned.
Now, do you think that Kumar Sangakkara and Aravinda Silva have bailed out soon after our defeat?
Well, when they were brought in, I mean, my biggest disappointment is that ex-players came and were party to this damage that was done to our campaign leading up to the World Cup, because I can understand people who have not represented the country not valuing the importance of the independence of the selection process. So therefore I'm very disappointed that ex-players came and were party to this decision.
So you mean to say that they are running away now? Sangakkara is going to Surrey, and Aravinda says he has business commitments.
Well, there is no tradition in or a legal basis for a selection committee to be appointed for 40 days, Bandula. It's always a tenure of 1 year or 2 years. So it's sad that these people are now abdicating their responsibilities and going their separate ways, because it's at the end of the day, you can make lofty speeches, you can make lofty claims, but your actions speak louder than your words.
Now, who should take responsibility?
I think the people in positions bearing the responsibility for governing cricket in this country should be taking responsibility for this.
In this country, we don't have this tradition of people resigning. People don't accept responsibility. You think Tilanga should resign? Should accept responsibility? You think that will ever happen?
It's not for me to comment on that, Bandula, because cricket and sport in general is very important to the youth of this country. So the leadership of this country and the government, I believe, has a responsibility to look into these anomalies and take necessary remedial action, and I hope that happens soon in the interest of Sri Lanka cricket.
Yeah, but don't you agree that you should keep politicians away from cricket? Now, okay, Tilanga is a deputy speaker, Arjuna who contested is a powerful minister, so they all contested, and we have said in this program that, I mean, people want cricket, it doesn't have to be Ranatungas, Dharmadasas and Sumatipala's. Do you think we need all these people?
Well,
these power plays?
See, it's not the profile of the people that matters. I think embarking on this with sincere intentions is what matters. It's not whether you're a politician, whether you're a businessman, but you should have sincere intentions in developing the game in this country, and if we can achieve that, I'm sure we will take the game forward.
Do you mean to say, Kapila, that they have no sincere intentions?
It appears
but
to be the case.
Interest.
It appears to be the case, Bandula, because if they had the interest of cricket at heart, they won't be taking some of the decisions that they have taken over the last few months. For example, stopping the Indo-Net project, the pool project, and all these other initiatives that were taken by the
interim committee
have all come to a grinding halt. And there were hostel facilities for cricketers who come from very remote places. All these projects have come to a grinding halt. So, judging by all what is happening, cricket doesn't appear to be central to their interest.
Then why were they elected? Why did they became presidents and secretaries?
No,
Why
that
did they
is-
fight for these?
That is the weakness in the system we have, Bandula. That is why the former chairman of the interim committee, Mr. Siddharth Vettamuni, made a proposal to bring in reform to the electoral system that we have in place, because without going in for a meaningful reform of the system itself, we will continue to have the weaknesses that we are having in the system.
Kapila, why can't our people get together in the interest of cricket?
Well, getting together is important, but like I stated before, it's the intentions that really matter. Whether you really want to do right by the cricketers, because see, one must understand the administrators are required only to prepare the right environment for cricketers to play their cricket and for the game to go forward, and that is the important thing, which unfortunately does not appear to be happening at the moment.
But what we see from a viewer's point of view and spectators' point of view, the spectators are led down by these so-called gurus and other parties.
That is why I think reform is important, Bandula.
When you say reform, like, what's reform? You can't have an interim committee always, Kapila.
No, but the necessity to bring in interim committees from time to time highlights inherent weaknesses in the system, Bandul. Now, without keeping on interfering with now if you bring in meaningful reform, because like what South Africa and Ireland has done with the stewardship of the ICC, then you would have all these weaknesses being eliminated from the system. That would create the right environment for cricket to actually progress in this country.
Now we have had coaches coming and going. Now Trevor Ellis, now he is coaching England, right? Then now we have brought Ford back. You think Ford should be kicked out?
No. I think he's a very good coach. He was a very good choice. But whether we have provided him with the necessary tools and the environment to carry out his functions effectively is a big question mark I have, because I don't think he knew much about the young players that we have brought into the circuit. There was very little support extended to him in my view, in terms of providing him with the right environment to perform his functions effectively.
So then that means the cricket board cannot find a scapegoat in Ford?
Absolutely not, in my view.
Now there is another question, it's a very interesting question from a viewer. How much interaction is there between selectors, managers, coaches and captain, whoever that may be, prior to the selection of the final squad?
Well, there is a consultation process. The captain is consulted, I beg your pardon, the coach is consulted, and when a captain is appointed on a long term, the captain becomes part of the selection committee. So he is part of the selection process.
Then I read in the Daily News where you had given an interview and where said that Malinga, I think was it in Dhaka, Malinga was sidelined. There was a discussion between the Minister of Sports, the President of the Cricket Board and others where Malinga was sidelined, and he had complained about it.
That is right, and that was a reason cited for his resignation. So that is where the outside interference really scuttled plans leading up to the World Cup, because even it was going to be a build up to the World Cup. The Indian tour was going to be where we were going to carry out all the experiments. Then we were given a deadline to pick the team, and then the Asia Cup leading into the World Cup was going to be the build up to the World Cup campaign. But that did not happen, because the original plan was for the team to leave for India straight from Dhaka. Now the present administration decided to bring them back here, so it all points to a well laid out plan to meet their ends.
So are you sad, bitter and disappointed?
I'm not bitter, but I'm sad and disappointed as a Sri Lankan that our campaign had to did not really materialize, leading up to the second round and hopefully even winning the championship.
What's the future of Sri Lankan cricket?
See, like I mentioned, the weaknesses that I mentioned needs to be addressed, because unless there is independence and a trustworthy system of selection, the game cannot go forward, because there will always be suspicion and there will always be a situation where the right players are not selected. So that is an anomaly that needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency, because unless that environment is created, I can't see a single cricketer with any self-respect coming forward to serve on the selection committee going forward.
This Kapila, my final question. What did your former boss tell you when you got this appointment as chairman of the cricket selection committee?
Well, my former boss, Mr. Rajamahendran, has been one of the avid supporters of cricket in this country. He told me, be careful, don't trust anybody, and try to do your best. That is what he told me. And subsequently he told me, I want you not to go there.
So he was right.
Yes, he's generally always right.
Now I have to tell the viewers, is we are the spectators, we are the fans. I think we have been let down. Kapila, who is a gentleman, has been let down, but more than that, our villagers, everybody has been let down. And I must be honest that I don't agree with these songs. I think lions are in the jungles, we don't have lions as human beings. So all these song and dances and help, we are watching and we are waiting. I hope people who are responsible will answer. Thank you very much. That's all the time we have for you. Tomorrow you'll be joined by my friend and colleague Faraz Shaukat Ali. Good morning to you.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.